All right, so now the food, guys. Time to get comfortable. We're in the middle of winter. Several dishes we love to dive into. Just conjure up warmth, good comfort food.
Yeah, there's French onion soup for some, macaroni and cheese maybe, or how about some beef stew or a good casserole? Our food guy has another suggestion though tonight, lasagna. And one is old school and one's a bit more modern. Steve Dolinsky in studio tonight joining us with more on the story.
Best of both
stretchy
worlds.
Pants, guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Carbs and melted cheese, right? Good stuff. First of all, those pasta sheets have to be wide and thin and homemade, layered with several cheeses, for sure ricotta and mozzarella, sometimes with meat, but not always, and a zesty, bright marinara that ties it all together.
Talk about old school. Stepping into Freddy's Pizza in Cicero is like walking back in time. The impossibly small yet well-stocked store has been around since the 1950s, but Joe Quercia started here in '68. 56 years later, he owns the joint with his wife, Anne Marie, presiding over a riot of pizza, gelato, Italian specialties, and of course, lasagna.
We use homemade noodles. It's made fresh every time we're making a lasagna.
Quercia starts by lining an enormous pan with tomato sauce, then a couple sheets of freshly made pasta as large as a newspaper. More sauce, then finely grated Parmesan, fresh ricotta with parsley and black pepper, and handfuls of ground beef, but not always, it depends on the recipe.
Good ricotta, really good ground beef, not too fatty.
Then shredded mozzarella to complete layer one. On goes more pasta, sauce, cheese, etc. for 2 more layers. They're either baked right there and served in massive square blocks, or
We did it partially baked. They take it home, turn the oven on, and bake it for an hour and a half, and it's nice and hot.
the lasagna approach is quite different at Alla Vita in the West Loop. Their pans are lined with a creamy bechamel, a foundation for verdant green sheets of spinach pasta that's covered with a thicker tomato sauce as well as more bechamel. Amping up the richness, shredded mozzarella and Parmesan, then a new twist this season, thinly sliced and roasted eggplant.
Traditionally, thinking of classic flavors, roasted tomato, bechamel, and I think adding a nice component for texture and flavor is eggplant. We bake it about 325 for an hour and a half, so you allow all the starch from the pasta, all the cheese, and all of those layers to kind of meld together. And then after that, we portion it and then fire it in the oven, get it nice and hot.
The great thing about both versions, you can easily reheat them at home, but there's nothing quite like digging into all those layers right out of the oven. And few would argue with a modern chef's creative license.
Taking the classics and not changing them by any means, but putting a twist on them.
And there's a lot of lasagna in town. Believe me, I've done the research. I put up a list on our website. It's my job here, along with those two. So everything's on the website. More information, as always, NBCChicago.com. Just search for The Food Guy.
That's a lot of lasagna.
How do you stay so fit?
Fun assignment, right? Yeah. Exercise, portion control.
That's right.
Stretchy pants this time of year.
Yes, yes. Enjoy
Nicely
those.
done. Dare I say it's better the second day when all
You're
the
right.
flavors kind of
Yeah, they meld together,
You take
yeah.
it home.
We got to get a big pan of that for the whole team to
man.
dive into.
Sounds fantastic.